Spring is here. Wow. Yes, happy to be back. It's nice to have my hands on a tree and start thinking about every design and just being back in the game again. All my trees are frozen. They're frozen out in the snow. So I went to the nursery and I picked this up. There wasn't really that much selection. It was a new nursery I had been to. They were still waiting for their spring order to come in. So I've decided on this is the best angle. I've done this angled it a bit this way from the base. I've cleared out quite a bit of dirt, so you can see where the dirt was. It's a good, you know, a good inch and a bit, and there's a big root here. There's a few others I kind of took out, but that's, you know, that might be the widest base. There to there, really kind of flares out. I don't want to go any deeper than I am. Just because this is a pretty big root, and I did take out some with quite a bit of roots. So that seems to be the front. Now what I'm thinking when I look in here, I kind of go, tilted the tree over. My apex is going to be right there, I'm thinking. This will be the primary branch, this one. So my defining branch will tilt the same way it'll lean, and the mass, the sort of the apex will be off to the right. Branch will be off to the right, and the trunk will be off to the right. So everything's going to be pushing this way a lot. So I'm going to shorten these branches in. As I look at it, I want to keep, I kind of, like I said, I would like to go shorter in the end, but I'm just going to take so much that I do think I need to keep it big at this point. Now, when I think about the lower, look at all these branches, I have to get rid of these whorls. So you'll see me getting rid of the threes, where it's gonna just create a reverse taper. So, you know, where there's bar branches to then create it. I'm gonna cut this off, put some cut paste on there, try to get rid of this because you have this bulge here. You can kind of get rid of it right there. I think that might be the best angle. Change the front. I just got more movement out of this base here. What I was doing was going for the wider Nabari. It's gonna be yeah, the wider Nabari. So I had it in quite a bit differently. Wider Nabari here. This is how I was gonna have it. To this. You just get way more movement in here. Now this will be quite a scar. So I'm looking at the tree, and what I'm really noticing is this extremely straight section. It's the first thing I kind of noticed. It kind of, you can, I mean, from far away in the camera, it's hard, but you kind of get some of this movement. And then you just see, I see this. And now I thought maybe I could hide it all, cover it all in, you know, cover this all in more. Now the camera's hiding it actually pretty good here. Now the tree will dance out. I really don't like it. I'm trying to decide now. You can see it's super straight, no taper, all the way up. And actually, you know, you kind of get some decent taper right from the base, comes up. And I'm not going to get great taper, and that's the problem with the nursery stock. But so I'm thinking I'm at least going to take there for now. This will give me an inch off of it, not 2 inches. Cut right there, and then just really try to hide that section. Now I had thought maybe cut right here. There's just a whirl of branches here, and that's just going to create a knob, and it's going to make this taper even worse. So, you know, I'm just trying to think my way through this. Almost makes sense to chop it there, have a new one, and then have another branch. This branch is huge, so it might have to come off eventually because it's so big. So this is sort of my decision-making process. I'm for surely going to take that off. I'm debating whether I go all the way down. So as far as design concepts, I have the tilt of the tree is going to the right. The main character branch is going to the right. Now, even though this is a lower branch, because there's space at the start and because it's longest, it's going the farthest out of the symmetry of the tree, which is how Ryan Neal talks about it. That defining sort of character branch is actually up above the lowest one. When normally it would be at the same height, or sorry, the lower one would be the character branch. And then I have the apex to the right. So it's off sort of to the right. The weight, more of the mass of the tree as far as foliage goes, here to here. More of it's to the right, and defining branch. So the movement is trying to lead you over and down and to the right. And what I've done with the branches is slight curves. This one has the most, and then a little up at the end, you know, just to kind of lift that tree up. Now you can see some of the branches are still heading down because I didn't want to wire every one, but I did wire quite a bit. It's also quite cluttered right now. The branches aren't defined, pads aren't defined. You can, you know, it kind of looks like a cluster of pads. Spruce is a little bit more, what do you call that? Less refined. No, that's not the word. Looks less manicured in general. That's the sort of general style. Not plucking all the needles off the bottom, for instance. But a lot of what's happening is I'm thinking about longer term. So I was finding that balance between, do I, you know, instant bonsai that then next year it's just going to grow out and look disastrous, and how much do I plan for the future? So getting rid of sort of bar branches that were too intense. That's one I kept, but that were just creating swelling in the trunk. So this, you know, like this section here has got like, I don't know, 5 branches coming out. I'm gonna have to pick, so, you know, 1, 2, 3 maybe, if it's up and lower enough that, so I don't get reverse swelling and then get reverse taper. So those branches, I'm just leaving them for further development in the future. And same with some of this length. And I say this almost every time on my first styling, is I let it go a little longer for vigor. Right, these big branches, the branches I want to keep, all of them, they have to pull a lot of vigor. And when I've taken, like I said, you know, what is it, 75% of the tree, and then I'm repotting it also. I just want to be that extra bit careful. But it turned out really well. Like the big flaw was this straight piece. I wasn't sure how to deal with it. I loved the movement in the trunk, and I wanted the tree to look much bigger and older, and bigger trunk, older tree. And so I think I've captured that pretty good. And I've got this movement to the right, which is nice. And so thus I put a rock in there. This is a concrete pot, one of these concrete pots that I've made. It'll get a little lighter as it dries out. Round, not too rimmed, so very sort of much more of a feminine tree. Almost you'd put a deciduous in there. But it was the pot that was the deepest and the narrowest for me when I needed it to be deep enough to get that in there, because, well, the roots, you know, I had to pull them out. And work tease them out. So it got quite a bit of root work. I tried not to trim too much and just, you know, extend them all out and around. But quite a few got trimmed as well. So the vigor of the tree is going to be crucial in this next bit. Now it is going to drop down to below 0, below 32 in the next 2 weeks. It's at a couple points. I'll bring this into the indoors, into my boot room, just so that it doesn't completely freeze. But yeah, I hope you like this video. It means the world to me that people like and subscribe and watch and comment. Yeah, just I'm excited. It's funny how content I was last night, and kind of excited, and then just the ups and downs, the sort of, oh, I wanted it to look better, and how come I can't get what I want, and then coming at it this morning with fresh eyes and taking a little more off the top and sort of cleaning it up a bunch, putting it in the container. Oh, so much fun. So yeah, that's what you can do with a fairly traditional, humble nursery stock. I think anyone could find a tree like that in a nursery. Nothing too special about it. Thanks for watching, and comment and subscribe.